Hey folks, welcome back. I had to switch cameras because the glare was just so bad. Um, I did record this wave 4 and I got a little bit into it and I've reset it back to where it was. And I did roll an event die that added another group to the oak groves. And I'll explain to you why I had to reset it. This scenario is super tricky. It's that cute thing I was telling you about that I don't really care for very much, but uh, you got to give them credit. They at least give you some challenging puzzles, and this is a very challenging puzzle. And if I played it wrong, let's just put it that way. So I did roll a 2. I don't know if I did this on the last video or this one, but I'm getting 13 CP. And then what I did was I'm going to take Jelena Nestor, who has her own Elfin Kazi. I'm going to take 3 Harriers for 3 points. And then we're going to have a Humminger who has his own Elfin Kazi. And then between the 3 of them, we're going to try to take out this Grove Fortress, which I have to do this round. So, sorry. I have to do it this round. And I'll explain why in a second. Let me set up my guys. So Elena's going to go on the bottom. And then the Harriers, I'm actually going to put on top this time. And then the Humminger with his Elfin Kazi. Elena has an Elfin Kazi too. So I'm just going to set them both here like this. And then put the Harriers on top. Okay, so what's the problem? Well, the first problem is I have to destroy both fortresses, which I haven't even touched this one. Okay, that's problem number 1. Problem number 2, I can only put a mark on that end or this end. So the mark is over there. I have to destroy that fortress this round because in order to destroy this one, I have to move my mark to here. If I destroy this one next wave while that fortress is still alive, my units don't switch their mark. They're, or maybe they do. But I don't think they do. So that's what I'm trying to say is I have to destroy one of these 2 fortresses this round, and that one has 1 health. So that's clearly the winner. And I need an Elfin Kazi to get there and just blow up and destroy the thing. Okay? So that's step 1. Sorry, getting some caffeine. Step 2. You have to pay attention to these things. So if I destroy this thing, these earthscapes disappear immediately the moment the landmark on them is gone. Look at what happens. There's no pathway anymore. And if there's no pathway, then all the units on both sides immediately go back to their barracks. And that's what happened to me in the playthrough you're never going to see. So I can't destroy this until I'm ready for the wave to end. Same with this grizzled oak. And that's actually what so if I destroy the grizzled oak, you can see I'm going to get a nice pathway to the Naroran, but they're not in my mark. So I can't destroy the grizzled oak until the very end as well. Now this one I can destroy, and I did because he's not impacting the pathway. So I know what's under here. It's not that super alarming because I played this scenario already, like I said, or this particular wave. But it would be nice to take this out. And even if I don't, I can wait until the next wave to do it. But these ones I do need to take out at the last minute at the same time. I did confirm that when this one's gone, we could win the game because I will get a new landmark here, but there is no landmark on the very bottom. And it doesn't matter that there's no path going that way because that's the fortress that if I destroy them, I don't have to worry about the path. Okay, so the very turn I destroy their fortress, I have to also destroy this and this. That is my challenge should I choose to accept it. Okay, so I rolled the event die like I said, and they got extra troops on the Grove Tender side. So those are the troops they're going to be coming at us with. It is a formidable set of troops, and that's also a problem for us. Okay, so we go first. I am in the range of their tower. I need to get out of range right now, and I am going to do that by going 1, 2 with this guy right here, and Darb is going to go 1, 2 like so. And the Warbriar here does not have a range attack, which is great, so he's going to just move 2. I'm sorry, they don't go yet. They don't go yet. My apologies. And then over here, I have a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 1, 2, and a 1, 2, like so. Okay. Now, this guy will explore this, which has an engage on him. So 3, 4, 5 health. So he gets engaged. And as far as attacky goes, this guy has a 2 damage attack against that particular altar. All right, now we do their turn. And yes, like I was saying, this guy's going to move 1, 2. And this one's going to move 1. And he has a 2 range attack. This one's a problem. Okay, I don't like him very much. All right. So what's next? It is back to our turn. Oh, sorry. I could have attacked this Grizzled Oak with a Harrier. Am I going to? I would only do 1 damage. My answer is no. Okay, so now it's our turn again. And I am going to choose to move the minions first. So the Harrier is going to move 1, 2, 3, like that. Okay, and in doing so, it's going to transpose with our hero. This one's going to move 1, 2, and Darb is going to transpose again. And now I get to move the heroes. So Lostomeyer, I think, is going to stay where he is. Darb is going to move 1, 2 to here. And just to give you, that's what it looks like. And then Selena, I am going to move 1, 2, although I don't want to kill the Grizzled Oak yet. What I'm concerned about is are the units over here. I do need to help kill them. So I think I want Jelena to go in and do, like, have her Elfin-Kazi be the death nail. That's what I think I want to do. I'm just not sure. And if I move him out of the way, I could have this Elfin-Kazi damage all 3 of these, which is what I want to do as well. So can Jelena survive long enough to do it? This impale is going to be bad. It'll do 1 damage to Jelena. And then I have a 2 range attack that'll do another damage to Jelena. And I also have towers that might damage Jelena. I only need Jelena to survive enough to drop her Elfin-Kazi on them. So I'm going to go ahead and move my hero 1, 2 like this, which will mean that there's no more impaling that's going to happen. So this Humminger is going to launch his Elfin-Kazi. So we're going to move 1, 2, and he's going to blow up right here. Elfin-Kazi hits friendly units, so that's why you have to be really careful. So we're going to do 2 damage to him, 2 damage to this altar. Oh no. You're going to see why in a second. And then 2 damage to him. Now this altar has 1 health left, and entropy means he blows up. So the altar gets destroyed, but the problem is he's doing 2 damage to everybody around him, and that includes this Harrier unit and this guy. So the cool thing is this Traxier took 4 damage just from 1 explosion. I wasn't expecting my Harrier to take damage, but it did. Okay, per the rules, this landscape is immediately removed. And so that's what we have left. And now we get to do our attacks. So This guy is going to attack the Warbriar for 2 damage, and the Warbriar is going to do 1 damage back. All right, and then the Harrier is going to attack the Warbriar for 1 damage, and the Warbriar is gone. So we get 1 source for that, and that puts us up to 5. And then there's another Warbriar in his place. So now it's their turn. Oh, I forgot one other thing. That tower right there is attacking. And it, oh man, it hit for 2. So we're down to 1 health, and he's as good as dead. And here's why. You're going to see it now. No move, no move. This guy has a 2 range attack. He's going to kill our hero. Hero's done. It was a bonus hero anyways, so I'm not going to lose too much sleep over it. I would rather win the mission. And then this one is going to do 1 damage to our Harrier and kill the Harrier. And then a new one, of course, forms in its place. So now we get back to our turn. I'm going to move our heroes first. So Jelena Nestor is going to move 1, 2, and then she has to survive the tower attacks. The Humminger is going to move 1, 2, and Darb is going to do nothing. And our Harrier can't do anything. So this is the part where it's going to get really interesting. Helena. Oh, I forgot to attack with my Humminger. I'm going to attack this guy for 2 damage, which would mean he would retaliate for 2. That was important. That was extremely important to this strategy. Okay, now I'm ready. Oh, I needed my other hero to stay alive. I somehow needed my other hero to stay alive. You know what? I don't. I don't need the other hero to stay alive. Here's what I was worried about. I was thinking I had to get this removed so we can get to the underneath. But the moment I remove this, this reveals itself anyways. And all I need is a pathway to them. I don't need a pathway over that way. So I'm good. I'm good. We're good. So the plan is going to work quite well. So we just finished all of our movement. Okay. Now I got to endure their tower attacks. So it's 1 die and 2 dice, right? So 3 dice are going to attack me. And, oh my gosh, I better have more than 4 health. 1, 2, 3, 4. Holy cow. That was barely enough. Okay, so what's going to happen is our Elfinkazi is now going to go in, because Elfinkazi, either it's before you move or, oh, you know what? It's after you move. Never mind. After I move. So I'm going to shoot my Elfinkazi in and blow him up right here. So that's going to do 2 damage to everything. So 2 damage to that tower, 2 damage to that tower, 2 damage to this guy, which is then going to summon something, but I'm not going to worry about it. And then 2 damage to this, which is going to blow up, and the whole fortress is destroyed. Okay? I don't know what happens to these because the fortress is destroyed. So I'm assuming that the spires that are in it are also destroyed. And what happens is we no longer have a mark. And since we no longer have a mark, our units go away. So our units are going to basically stop at the end of the round. They're going to just disappear because there's nothing for them to attack anymore. And I'm going to assume that since their fortress is destroyed, their spires don't attack. And maybe that's in the rules somehow. It seems to make sense to me. So, always something weird in this game. Fortress, fortress, fortress. There's so many. Seven, 14, and 16. If the fortress gate is reduced to 0, it is defeated. When you defeat a fortress gate and the game does not end, because more than one fortress gate still has health, you immediately pillage the defeated faction's fortress. Increase your source by the amount of source the defeated faction has, which is interesting because they have 10 per the setup, and reduce their source to 0. The gate health tracker of the defeated fortress is then removed. Once a fortress is defeated, it cannot be another faction's mark for the rest of the wave. All players with this faction as their mark must declare a new mark immediately. So you do get to pick another mark, so that part's good. Spires. So what's interesting now is what happens to the fortress spires? Do they get to attack? Spire fortification. Fortification upgrades help to further protect the spire, as the spire must be dealt at least 2 damage instead of 1 from a single attack. Yeah, that's not it. Each faction has 2 source wells in which they can construct spires. These spires function. They're considered adjacent. Fortress spires may count through the fortress gate when determining range. Fortress spires are included in the game effects that reference spires in play. It doesn't say what happens to their spires. But the good news, I guess, is they are defeated. And the Elfenkazi took out their range. So let's say that the fortress spires are good. This is the only spire that can hit. That spire can no longer hit, as there's nothing in range. So I'm going to go ahead and roll 1 die, and it's the 2. So I'll take the 2 damage. And that's what I get for going in and finishing it off. So we were supposed to move our mark. We have nowhere to move our mark, so our units are going to disappear after this round. Their units do have a mark, but here's what's going to end up happening. So Darb here is going to attack the Grizzled Oak and kill it, which is fantastic because Darb's going to get his first upgrade. But then this immediately disappears, and now what you see is there's no longer a path. So since there's no longer a path, their units are going to go back to the barracks. So all that's going to happen is we're just basically finishing our attacks for the round. This guy, of course, is going to do 1 damage. They would do 1 damage back, but it doesn't matter. This guy does 2 damage, and we kill the Warbriar, so we're at least going to get the 1 source. So that part's helpful, right? So we get 1 source there. We're at 6, and we're actually going to get 10 more, which is 16, because we defeated their fortress. All right. So now the round ends, right? And we would continue playing. However, we no longer have a mark that's valid, so our units go away. And they no longer have a path to their mark, so their units go away. And that's how this is going to play out. And anytime you damage a fort for the first time, we roll an event die, and it's a 5. So that meant that the Nauroran are going to get more units. So let me take care of that as well. So this is not going to be fun, let me just tell you, because they're even going to get more units than this. So, all right, the wave is over. So when I start the next round, Jelena, she flies, so we don't have to worry about her. But I can easily take care of this and remove this, and that'll reveal the last landmark for that. And like I said, there's no more landmarks underneath, so we're okay. Grove tenders are destroyed. We don't have to worry about them. And let me just get some of this out of the way. So we got at least one of our objectives done. Now, the next two objectives, as you know, are we have to destroy all the landmarks. Well, we have this landmark here, which is a problem. And I'm going to want very slow moving units to go first. And I want my units to basically march slowly against theirs. So the Nauroran, I want the Nauroran to move all their units out, because this thing has toxic secretion. It's going to do 1 damage every time they walk by. And I'm leaving that there, and I'm going to force them to eat it. And so that part's awesome. And basically what we want to do is we want them to take all their damage before our units ever engage them. And so then after that, our heroes in the meantime need to destroy these two, right? And then whatever shows up underneath there. So that way we could have all the landmarks destroyed. Now, one last thing, I think I'm supposed to put one here, because when we removed that, this got revealed. So I should have done that before. So that means it would be, we also would have revealed it. So please accept my apologies. I had like all kinds of units here that would have revealed it. So it's an altar with an unstable rift. So interesting. The moment this would have been revealed, it would have done 2 damage to everybody around it. And that's fine, because all those units went away anyways. It gets destroyed. So that's it. I mean, this particular one, whoever reveals it, basically this thing self-destructs. And so everybody around it takes 2 damage. So we would have been fine. Nothing would have changed. Okay, so now we move to the final wave. And everything's got to fall in place. This is really, I'm going to roll the event die. And what do I got going on here? So the event die is a 2. And that event says the Grove Tender minions get more stuff, which isn't going to happen. But if you remember, though, we accomplished this objective. Fortress no longer deploys units. At the start of the next wave, add a nitrous Messiah to the bottom of the Aurora deployment stack. So a nitrous and a Messiah. To the bottom. And it doesn't say they need to be grouped together. So a nitrous is incorporeal. So I'm going to put that there. And then the Messiah immolates and it's healing. That sounds pretty awful. So those go to the bottom. And then this mega stack, I mean, this is a mega stack of units for them. That's what it looks like. Okay, so we are in wave 5. Like I said, we have 16 source. I need 4 to destroy that. I don't need any more source for anything else. So I think I'm going to get some upgrades for my troops. Let's first see how much CP points we're going to gain. We're going to gain 1, which isn't fantastic, but it's better than nothing. And so I'm wondering, like, should I get some Kazi Roost upgrades? So this last one doesn't help us, because that's only for fortress spires. See that? We're not worried about our fortress. The sizable nest means that the minion, the Humminger, gets +1 range to the Elfin Kazi. That can be useful. The modest nest just means that our towers get the ability to have an Elfinkazi. That's not as useful. What else can we do? Our market, by the way, is not very helpful. So I'm not interested in the market, although maybe the magic-like missile is. Let me look at that. Once per turn, before or after this unit's movement, you can spend 2 source to deal 1 damage to a unit 3 hexes away. Maybe. I might have extra source left over, so that might be helpful. We currently have the Harrier training. We don't have the Master training, which would allow us to upgrade. Maybe. I don't know. This is like really hard to do. The Harrier training, we have. The Joust training, I think, is... Well, actually, this one's really good because we get to put a Joust in after all of our units are gone. I forgot to do that last scenario, actually. I forgot I even had that ability. And then this one we don't want because this lets us jump into the fray quicker. And we don't need gate repair. And this one gives us fortress spires, which is fine, but I'm not feeling it. So the question then becomes, I think maybe we get master training just in case. But my thoughts are, I only want to get this if I can improve my joust. If I'm actually going to have jousts in there. So how many CP we're getting? We're getting 13. 13 CP. My thoughts are that because of their towers here, and they're pretty strong towers, that I want to Elfinkazi the crap out of them, right? And their health of their fortress is 10, and I have 3 Elfinkazi that I can put into play. One of them is going to go onto Jelena, right? So she has 1, okay? The other 2 go onto the Humminger unit. So I don't know what happened to my other Humminger unit, but there we go. So I can put the other 2 on there. The Humminger units is 8 of our 13 CP. We did roll 1, which makes it 14, so that means we have 6 left over. So I don't know, like, do I want to get some jousts? The jousts would cost 3 each. This Royal Talon, which is the best unit in our game, is 5. And then the Wind Rush is 4. So those 2 together are very formidable, but I can't afford them. And if I do this, that's 5, which means 9, 13. I only have 1 point left, so I'd be able to hire 1 Harrier. So that means no joust for me. I could... So since I have source to spend, I can at least get the reserves, which lets me put a joust. I still have to spend 2 source, but I can put a joust into play. It would go in the closest path hex to the mark that's adjacent to an air spire. I don't have an air spire, so actually that hurts. This is worthless. So I'm going to spend 8 points here. That's what I'm going to do. And I have master training, so there's a chance that maybe I can upgrade. So I'm going to spend 8 points, and that puts me down to 8 left. All right, so I'm going to follow my plan here and have my 2 Hummingers with Elfinkazis. I got to decide if they're going to be grouped together. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take... I can put this Harrier underneath something, or I can group it with something else. I think I'm going to group the Harrier with something. So that way it'll pop out at the end and maybe be able to do some damage for us. So I could take our Hummingers and group them together so only one of them... So when this one dies, the next one can then launch his Elfinkazi. Yeah, I'm going to do that. So that means that the Harrier we're going to put underneath them. And I'm going to make my Royal Talon last. Should I? Yes, I am. I'm going to group all of them together like this. And I think what happens then is that the Harrier has to be last as a result. Not that it's all that exciting. So I'm going to actually make the Harrier his own unit with 2 health. I'm just going to put him behind everything. So the Harrier is going to be on the bottom of the stack. And then, yes, I'm going to group these Hummingers with the Royal thing like so. So the Humminger on top is going to be able to launch his... Do I want to do it that way? If I do it that way, what I'm banking on is that all of these guys are not going to kill my Humminger before he gets close enough to launch his nuke. What I could do is put this one on top, right? And if I put this one on top, then these guys, if they do get through, they're attacking him first. Yeah, I'm going to do it that way. I'm going to put my flying guy on top. Now, he's not flying when he's grouped together because his group is walking. So this guy, even though he's flying, he has the flying ability. He's not flying when he's in a group. So bear that in mind if you make this decision that I'm making right now. Okay, I may have been stupid. We're going to find out. But like I said, I want my guys to move really slow right now. Okay, so out of the weird chance that those spires can still fire, I go first. So my Elfinkazi is going to get out of their range. And I can get out of their range just by moving 1 space. No, I can't. So I need to move over here to get out of their range. Right? And then Darb here is probably... actually, no. He's going to move 1, 2, like so, because I want to kill this one before it's too late. And then we're going to move with this big stack, 1, 2, and then our Harrier is going to move 1. Okay? All right, so now it's their turn. And they get to go. Sorry about my dog. All right, so this Arcbright and this group here goes first. And I want to point out that there's this Thorax. It has toxic secretion. That's why we left him there. So this is going to be awesome. This guy's going to move 2, 1, 2, and he takes 2 damage. And he stops there. This one is going to move 1, and he takes 1 damage. And so forth. Okay? So this Arcbright has a 3 range attack. It will attack Darb, and it does 1 damage to Darb. I'm sorry, Darb would have killed this thing first. So we would have killed him. And that right there lets us build a tower. So let's take care of that first. I'm going to build a Regal Lookout. And that Regal Lookout would go here. Okay. So after Darb did that, Darb would have gotten promoted to this side. And now this thing would have attacked and done 1 damage to Darb. And then Darb's going to attack back and kill it. So this guy's dead, the Arcbright. And we get 2 source for that. We're up to 10. And a conduit shows up in its place. And Darb, because he killed that guy, would get his attack chip back. So now he's back to where he was before. And now he has this dodge ability. So even if Darb dies, all that happens is he flips over. So that's a good deal. All right, so it's our turn. And like I said, we want them to take damage. So I'm going to move Darb to here. And then this one is just going to meander here. And again, there. during my last turn, I would have spent the 4. We're going to spend the 4 to get that destroyed. So we're down to 6. And this is going to go immediately. And that causes this to get revealed. And we're going to put this on. So now with this turn, Darb is going to explore. And this guy, by the way, would have moved. He's flying. So we would have moved to here. And yeah, this is a person with engage. So that's not good, but we do need to defeat him. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to have to take that on. And let me show you this one. It's got engage. All right. So we finished our turn, but now we have engage. So that means we have to engage him. It's a bit of a problem because Darb is going to engage with a 2 attack. And then it's going to do 2 damage back, which is going to cause Darb to flip back over. And he gets his health. So he's back to 3 health. And let me make sure that that's how that works. But it's called dodge. So when damage from an attack or retaliation would defeat this unit, ignore the damage entirely and do not retaliate. There you go. So we ignore it entirely. So I think he had 1 damage on him. So he just flips over. That's all that happens. And then here I get Jelena. I would swear she leveled up, but she didn't. So she's going to do a 2 damage attack, who's then going to do 2 damage back, and Jelena's down to 1 health. She's in trouble. So we can't let her get hit. Okay, so now it's their turn. So this guy is going to move 1, take a damage because of this, and then 2. This one's going to move 1, take a damage, 2, take another damage. This guy has entropy, he blows up. Okay, when he blows up, he does 2 damage to that. And in fact, that would have happened here. So then this guy would get 2 health, and he takes a step and then does the damage. Entropy occurs when he's down to 1 health. So he would have been down to 1 health here, blown up, and then this one would have taken over, etc. So since he blew up, we don't get the source for him. Okay, and then this one, 1, take a damage, 2, take a damage, and then he blows up. So he's gone, and unfortunately it kills our secretion guy as well. And he dies. I'm sorry, another one comes up like that. And then this one moves, and this one doesn't move. So it was great, except the entropy ended up killing the thing that was wrecking them. That was quite an awesome situation for a while there. Okay, so now they attack. This guy does 2 damage, and he's going to kill Darb. There's nothing I can do about that. So Darb's done. He did his job. All right, now it's on our turn, and our person with the 1 health, I need to make sure none of them has a range attack, and they don't. So I can kill this guy, and then next turn move in, and then, but yeah, I can't use my Elfin Kazi yet. So I'm going to just stay where I am and kill this thing. Here we have a flying unit. He can't move because he's not really flying. And we're going to do 2 damage to him. And we get 3 source. I don't know what stasis even does. It says before or after this user's movement, it is adjacent to an ungrouped opposing minion. So we didn't have an ungrouped minion. We had a group minion. So he's as good as dead. Everybody else is just sitting tight. Okay, so now it's their turn. This guy is going to move up. So that's our situation. Oh, on our turn, we would have killed this guy and gotten a tower. So this would let us do generate a tower or get a tower upgrade. So we have one here. So what's interesting is I could actually build a tower right there. Is that what I want to do? I mean, all they would do is wreck it. You know what I'll do? I'm going to just add another range to this one. Yeah, okay. Man, I feel so bad because I know some of you don't like it when this happens, but during that turn that I finished before these guys moved, I knew I was going to kill him, right? I have 2 build actions I get to do. So the first one costs 3. So I would buy one for 3. That puts me down to 6. And then the next one costs 4, which puts me down to 2. And I'm going to buy those. And then I kill this thing. And the whole reason I'm pointing this out is I'm getting another range because that's like super expensive. And I wanted the one that I get for killing this guy to be the last one that I get. So if you would plan out the turn and you're super anal, you could have thought of that before I realized that I was supposed to think about that. So now they did their movement, and then here's what's awesome. So this guy has 3 range, right? So 1, and then 1, 2, 3. I can hit all the way down to here. So I'm going to go ahead and hit this arc light before he even has a chance to do anything to us. And so I roll 2 dice, and that was more than enough. Arc light's dead, and we get 3 source. So we're back up to 5. Okay, so now it's our turn. This one's going to move in. This one's going to move. And then I'm going to move 1, 2, and then launch my Elfin Kazi, which is going to go 1. Ooh, I don't actually hit the towers, but that's okay. I'm going to do it right here. So this Elfin Kazi is going to blow up. We're going to do 2 damage to their gate, which knocks them down to an 8. We're going to do 2 damage to this guy. And you know what? I'm going to choose to move my hero first, because you either move the hero first or the minions. I'm going to move the hero first, so that means the minions haven't moved. This Elfin Kazi thing happens during your movement step. And so by doing so, you're going to see why in a second. So I did 2 damage to that, 2 damage to that. This game has so many deep thought things you have to do. 2 damage to that. Okay? Now, why did I say that? Because this guy has entropy, so he blows up. And he does 2 damage to everything around him, which is nothing. So Elfin Kazi goes back. Burnout is done. Now we go ahead and move with our guys. So I move in 2 and 2, and now we attack. So this Incorporeal we can't hit unless we're next to him. That's fine. This guy does 3 damage. Boom, boom. And he's dead as well. That was the nitrous. But let's also bear in mind we're in range for both of these towers. So there's going to be 4 attack dice going against him. I may not have gotten my attack in. Give me a second. So here's 2 damage with 3 dice, and then 1 more damage. So he actually did 3 damage to us. So now it's their turn. This guy's going to move in, and he's actually going to kill our hero, which is fine. Our hero did her job. So now it's our turn. We can't move. This tower is going to attack with 2 dice, and it did 3 damage. So our flying unit dies. And then this guy comes out, and I made a huge mistake. I shouldn't have done it this way. Now this guy is going to attack, and it does 2 damage. So I want to launch my Elfinkazi right now. And Elfinkazi's launched during our movement, so I need to check. That's what I mean by this was a bad decision to group them like that. Before or after this unit's movement, it may defeat itself in order to deal 2 damage. So yes, it's during the movement phase. Dang it. So I'm going to lose that Elfinkazi because he's going to die. So what's going to happen is he's going to do 2 damage to this guy. Then this guy's going to retaliate and kill my Humminger before the Elfinkazi ever had a chance to launch. That's what's going to happen. I mean, I will have a Humminger left, but then this guy goes and he's going to kill my Humminger before, because he does 3 damage. Okay? And then he's going to heal. Yeah, I'm not going to win this scenario. So I have to think of this differently. So what I would need to have done is this would have had to have been the guy that's back here. And then this one, the guy that's back here. Okay? And then this one would have been grouped with the flyer. Because if he wasn't grouped with the flyer, we had a situation where something would have happened to our flyer. Oh, sorry. I'm totally... Oh my gosh. You didn't get to see anything. I'm screwing up so bad everywhere. So here's what happened. Is... because our flyer unit, wherever he happens to be, this Royal Talon, he ended up getting killed by the spires. Okay, that part's not the problem. The problem is that the Elfinkazis only launch after you move. Okay, he got killed by the spires, and then it revealed a Humminger, which was fine. But the problem is the Humminger has to attack. So he's attacking this guy that does 3 damage. He did do 2 damage to the guy, didn't kill it. Then the guy does 3 damage back and kills the Humminger. Well, then when it's their turn, this guy with 3 damage kills the other Humminger. So nobody launches any Elfinkazis. So the 2 Hummingers need to be separate. That was a decision I should have made at the beginning of the wave. I wasn't thinking it through. But this guy does die. That's not the question. And then what I am saying is this Harrier needs to be the one that was combined with him, because there was a spot right around here where the flyer, there was somebody next to him, and his special effect would have affected the flyer had he not been grouped. So I don't have a problem with him being grouped. So this would be what he's grouped with. And of course, this would appear after the spires killed him. So now it's our turn. This Harrier goes, and he would do 1 damage to them, right? But then the thing retaliates and does 3 damage to us, so we die. And it's still bad. It's still going to be bad for us, folks, because what you're going to see happen next is, yeah, we're not going to win this scenario all the way. And this, by the way, would have gone away. So what's going to happen next is this guy has Immolate and Healing, so he's going to heal 1. I don't even know what Immolate does for him, so let's look that up. If defeated by a faction unit or spire, steal source from that faction equal to the source reward instead of rewarding it to that faction. Okay, fair enough. All right, so this is the part I'm talking about. We're going to get screwed here because this guy's going to come up and then do 3 damage to our Humminger, and this Humminger is going to die. without ever being able to launch his Elfinkazi. I can't avoid that, folks. I mean, I already retconned it enough as it is. That would be super lame to retcon it anymore. And here's the part that hurts. Like, I really needed my hero to stay alive, because now this is going to come in, and sure, I could launch my Elfinkazi and move 2 spaces, but I'm not damaging their fortress at all. I got their fortress down to 8 health, and that's it. So I can launch the Elfinkazi, take 2 damage off of him, and then he'll do his attack and take the last one, and we lose 4 source from that. Who cares? Source doesn't matter right now. So we can at least do that, but that's not what the Elfinkazi was supposed to do, right? I needed the Elfinkazi to get to here. So let's say both of the Elfinkazis would have gone in. This guy would have gone down to 6 and 4. Not enough to destroy the fortress, but definitely a lot of damage. And then we would have knocked off an attack and a range from him, and then both of his range. So now we're looking at a situation where we can at least have some breathing room. But now, because he has all this range, in fact, he can go 1. He can actually hit us now. And so it would have done 1 damage to us. We would have moved in. Then this one, because he has the range, is going to do 2 dice and do 3 damage to us. I mean, we're dead before we even get there. So scenario is going to end. We got 2 of our 3 objectives. I'm going to take that as a victory for me, because this was a really difficult scenario. So we spent way too long trying to destroy the Grove Tenders, and then didn't have enough oomph to get this guy. So that's it in a nutshell. I mean, I think that if those entropy guys wouldn't have blown up, that particular unit that was sitting here, who was doing 1 damage to everybody as they were walking by, I think it would have wrecked them a lot more. And yeah, there's nothing I can do with this particular situation. Maybe I let my heroes die too recklessly, and I should have kept them alive a little bit longer. But I'm going to take my 2 points and just run, because I don't particularly like this scenario. I love the idea that I love the idea that I was fighting against 2 factions. That part I like. That whole, gotta make these landmarks shift and do things like that, I wasn't a big fan of that. But I'm going to collect the 2 points, and I'm not spending any right now. So I'm going to save up so I can buy the 4-pointer. And yeah, that's it. That's this scenario. It's a very challenging one for those of you who want to give it a crack. I couldn't get the 3rd objective in. In fact, I think I got the most difficult one, which was the landmarks. But yeah, I just couldn't get this destroyed. So definitely going to be chewing on that one, and I might even try it again sometime on my own. But thank you for watching. I'm not going to make you watch me set up for the next one, but let me show you at least what the next one looks like. So we got that kind of situation coming up next. I have no idea what my objectives are or anything. The thing that I'm enjoying most is we are playing as a different group, so that part's fun. But yeah, it's sorry, I'm trying to. There we go. Okay, thank you for watching. Stay awesome, and we'll see you in the next video.